It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining the conversation as we hone in on an area that I think has made a lot of South Africans very nervous over the last couple of weeks. In fact, it is a life and death situation for residents of Hammanskraal at the moment. That's because of the cholera outbreak that's killed some 24 people and now hospitalized nearly 200. Those are the numbers as of yesterday, but the numbers will surely grow. Now, Dr. Lee Govender, a healthcare practitioner in Hammanskraal, joins us via video. Doc, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. I know very difficult time in your neck of the woods, as underpinned by the numbers that I've just gone through. Can you put it into perspective for us? Just how bad is the situation in Hammanskraal right now?
Hi, good morning. I think the numbers that you've just mentioned, I think they are much more than that. You know, simply because you're basing it on one hospital, a government hospital in Hammanskraal called Jubilee Hospital. But patients are seen in clinics, in private practices, are seen in moving to other parts of the towns, nearby towns, to get medical care. And the thing is, they cannot afford a test. So doctors are treating it as a suspected cholera case, but they're not absolutely sure that it is. So I think the figures are much more than that.
That in itself is terrifying. But if we have to look at the path that brought us here, lack of reliable access to clean water, obviously one of the major issues faced by Hammanskraal residents. The community struggled with water shortages, poor water quality. A cholera outbreak surely wasn't a massive surprise.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I've been in Hammanskraal for 28 years, and for the past 12 years, Hammanskraal has been having issues with water supply and sanitation. I mean, this was addressed all the time. Promises were made, but here we are today with an outbreak.
I've got to ask, in the immediate sense, what should the reaction be when we look at a problem that is infrastructure related, systemic in that area? How do we go about treating the problem as it stands right now?
Okay, you know, as I said, a more permanent solution to clean water supply, to sanitation. And I think the main thing is educating the people in the area. I mean, there's a lack of education in the area. And this is a preventable disease. With the proper education, maybe flyers or people going out to schools and churches, this will help a lot. This will help reduce the numbers.
How do we react in the moment when we reach this sort of level? Obviously, there is a triage kind of approach needed right now. What pressure is being put on the medical situation in terms of those of you who are having to deal with the reality right now? What do you need to shift? Where can help be brought in?
You know, the thing is, firstly, like I said, education. So maybe some flies in all the surgeries, maybe some instant rapid tests to determine if we're dealing with cholera or not, instead of waiting days for results. And then, okay, from our side, we're providing the IV treatment. We've got the COVID measures in place, you know, to prevent the disease from spreading.
It seems crazy to me that we are asking a community to take better care of itself, yet there is very little care being offered to this community when you can't even trust a basic right like water. How difficult is it as a healthcare practitioner to do your job when you don't have the tools and the framework to be able to operate in that area? Because it seems to me that this is quite a complex problem that needs to be addressed on a number of levels. But when you look at the reality, just how difficult is it to keep people safe in light of this?
You know, you're absolutely right. It's a multi-level approach. At our level, all we can do is treat the patient and try to prevent the spread. But promises were made to this town years ago, promises, a whole lot of talk. Now it's time that action was taken to prevent all these preventable diseases. You know, and with us, it's difficult. It's scary. It's very scary because, honestly speaking, that hospital is not really equipped to handle the numbers that we're going to send in. So we have to consider all of this when treating a patient.
An awful moment in time to bring us to these conclusions, but at least there is light being cast on this area. We send out our hope, our love, our prayers to those families who have been affected, those who have lost loved ones. And sadly, as the doctor has pointed out, we are not near that solution just yet because the situation remains unsafe. So please, if you live in that area, be extra vigilant. Make sure that hygiene is of the utmost importance. Seek advice when you can. And of course, if you're showing any of the signs and symptoms of cholera, please connect with a healthcare practitioner. We know that there is a lot of work to be done in that area. Doctor, thank you so much for your efforts. Hopefully, we can garner more support and a shift in the situation as it stands in the long term. But thank you so much for your efforts.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
And of course, the National Department of Health has urged the public to take those precautionary measures. Just washing your hands as a starting point is a major tool in fighting cholera. But maybe we'll get an update now as we tackle news headlines, and then I'll touch on the sport.